Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker Tools. Tonight we are going to be revisiting one of my favorite drills, and we're going to be comparing it to two that you have asked for in the comments several different times. So let's go ahead and get into that on Tinker with Tools. 2 years ago to the day, I actually posted the very first video on Tinker with Tools. It was a review of a Dewalt brushless drill that I had at the time. So now 2 years later, I felt it might be fitting to actually go ahead and talk about another Dewalt drill. And in this case, we're going to be talking about one that I have professed my love for numerous times over the years. This is the Dewalt DCD 800. Now, if you're not familiar with this drill, this is the XR compact drill driver that they have on their platform. Now, XR badging is going to mean that it is kind of a more premium Dewalt tool, and is going to be up in the higher end of what they do offer in their lineup. And it's the compact offering, meaning this is not a full-size drill. This is not going toe-to-toe with the top drills from other companies. Now, when I say it is more premium, there are a couple of different things on here that kind of make it that way. First off, you're getting a very nice all-metal chuck here, whereas if you're kind of on the compact atomic line, you're going to have a plastic outer sleeve on the chuck, and I really do like the way this chuck feels. You do also have the work light down here. You can actually rotate it and reposition it, and then it even has a setting where it can stay on for 20 minutes. This light is incredibly bright and does give you some really good coverage of your work area when you're using it. The next thing I want to talk about is, unlike some compact offerings you get in other companies or even in the atomic line, you're not necessarily losing performance by going with this drill. This offers 650 RPMs in speed 1 and 2000 RPMs in speed 2, something that traditionally you've seen on much more premium drills versus maybe the 1700 or 1800 in that top speed that you're getting on more compact offerings. The next is going to be the power. This one is actually quoted as unit watts out here in the United States, but if you look abroad, you can see that it roughly translates to about 800 inch-pounds of torque. This is actually going to be greater than the DCD 996 in terms of unit watts out, and that was at one time the most premium drill offering that they have. Now, I do feel like it's worth pointing out that this drill does also have a hammer drill version, which is the DCD 805. Pretty much everything that I've talked about with this tool is going to be true for the 805 as well, except for the compact size. Because of the hammer mechanism in this drill, it does grow about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch over the drill driver version, and that is one of the things that I absolutely love with this tool, is just how compact and small it is. Now, the other thing that Dewalt really has as an ace in its hand is going to be the compact power stack battery. This battery on this tool makes it absolutely tiny. Instead of it comparing favorably to compact offerings on the 18 and 20 volt platforms of other tools, you're now talking about it being compact as some of the 12 volt tools, but with the benefit of power stack being able to deliver more power for more demanding jobs, you're actually getting something more similar to a 5 amp hour performance out of this tiny battery, but while keeping the size and power down. Now, obviously you're going to suffer runtime differences and that sort of thing. You can use a bigger battery on this, but I like that with this tool offering, you can go with a really compact yet still powerful battery option. Now, we're not just going to talk about this drill today, because I thought it would be interesting to do something that you have asked for several different times in the comments, and that is you want to see it compared to a couple of different Milwaukee drills. I want to start out by saying that I in no way am recommending that these are direct comparisons for the drills we're about to put it up against, but they are ones that you have asked for comparison, and I do think that there's a point to be illustrated here that we will talk about later. Now, first and foremost, the one that I get asked to compare it to more times than not is going to be the Milwaukee Fuel hammer drill. Now, this is the Gen 4, and this is a much more powerful drill, as much as about 600 inch-pounds more than the 800 or the 805. But something that I think is why it draws comparison is when you compare these two drills, the 805 and the 2904 are actually very similar in size. Now, the second comparison point that has been popping up more recently, this is going to be the brushless drill driver that is the compact offering non-fuel from Milwaukee that came out late last year. Now, this is in fact a smaller drill. In fact, it's more comparable to the tiny little atomic drill, but it's not all that much smaller. It is a little bit leaner, and it's about 1/2 inch shorter And so I think a lot of people think, well, this is more compact. I already like that. How do they compare power-wise? That's where I think the compact premium is going to come in, because although this is a nice drill, it is definitely not as nice as the compact XR drill from Dewalt. I've had many people comment that when they've seen it in person, when they've felt it and handled it, it even feels cheaper or less premium than what you're getting on the Fuel. We are going to be comparing to these two Milwaukee drills. And once again, this is not a direct fair comparison. This is 550 inch-pounds compared to the roughly 800 you're getting over here, compared to the 14 that you're getting with the 2904. That's not the point of it. So I want to go through some comparisons on the specs, do some performance testing, and then try and come back and illustrate where this is comparable to these different tools. But I want to talk about why this is such a unique drill and how it kind of rides the line between typical compact stuff and typical premium stuff, and why that is such a good thing for us today. So there you have the performance testing. Now, you may have come away with grand revelations, but it pretty much towed the line of what I expected. We'll start first with the Milwaukee Compact Brushless. This is a great drill for what it is, but it is far from a perfect tool. It gave a good alternative to M12 on the M18 platform, but it did it with some compromises, being first and foremost for me the clutch. The thing's just kind of slippery and doesn't like to tighten down as well. On the fuel versions of these tools, you have a really nice knurling on the chuck and it really just tightens down well. This one I feel like my hand slips around it and I just don't love that about it. The other thing with this tool is it does, because of just how absolutely tiny it is, it really does suffer from extreme heat production. It does well performance-wise for what it is, and it certainly held its own in the compact testing that we did last year. It does have its drawbacks. Now, when it comes to the M12 or M18 fuel, there weren't a lot of surprises there. We've tested this in several different head-to-heads. I love this drill. It's a great drill, but it's not my favorite full-size drill. I think that probably goes to the Makita XGT. But if you need a true full-size drill, this is a great compact option that gives you good power and performance in a very compact size for what it is. This feels more like a compact full-size drill, and so I get why some people are tempted to compare it to the 805, because in reality they are very similar in size. So when it comes down to it, on lighter duty stuff, I think that it performs better, but not so far better that necessarily is warranted if those are the type of task you're doing. If you're getting into heavier stuff repeatedly, it definitely does benefit from having more torque on hand to be able to do more work better and higher speeds than that. Let's kind of come back to the DCD 800 and talk about why I think it is such a great tool. As you've seen tonight, it is more similar in size to that of this compact tool, but performance-wise, it is more similar to that of the full-size drill. Dewalt hit a very nice sweet spot when it comes to power and size mix. I almost think of this as, if you talk about professional fighters, whether it's MMA or boxing, you'll often hear the term pound-for-pound champion thrown around. That's where I feel this drill is. This is, in my opinion, the pound-for-pound champion, even over its slightly larger twin brother. When it's paired with that power stack, you're getting the premium performance that can tackle a lot of different tasks and do it really well, but you're getting it at such a compact size that it really just starts to make a ton of sense, in my opinion, for the vast majority of the work we do. It is a true unicorn in that it has power and performance of the more premium drills, but it is more compact than a lot of people's compact offerings. Now, I don't want to gloss over the fact that it's not perfect. It really isn't. One of my biggest gripes about this tool is it is powerful enough that you can get yourself into a compromising situation if you're not careful. And there are no active safety controls on this tool like what you get on some drills. Dewalt, on any of their pistol grip drills, does not have any sort of kickback protection to kind of offset that. That is kind of the last thing that I would say, because putting an auxiliary handle on this tool is not the option. I think maybe the 805 is big enough for an auxiliary handle, but it would have to be a different design than what Dewalt currently uses on their bigger drills. And I just don't think trying to find a way to fit it onto this small of drill is really going to be the answer. No drill this size has an auxiliary handle that I'm aware of, and I'm not advocating for it, but some additional safety controls on there would benefit it greatly, because the power is sufficient to get yourself into a problem area. I know many of you have tried this drill based on my recommendation. You've told me so in the comments, and for the most part, the reviews are positive. There are some people who've tried it and just hasn't met their expectations for what they're seeing or what they saw it do on my channel. I just think there's a lot to love here. It is a true unicorn. It spans such a great amount of potential jobs with one tool, and so that is why it continues to get my recommendation for the one drill that can satisfy most people's needs. So go ahead and let me know down in the comments below what you think of the DCD 800. As a reminder, this is not meant to be a direct comparison to these Milwaukee tools. You can let me know how unfair they were, because rightfully so, they were unfair. This is a bigger, better tool than the compact option, and it doesn't go toe-to-toe with the Milwaukee Fuel. But at the end of the day, it's the one that several of you have asked for, and so that's why I wanted to go ahead and do it. If you like the video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel and click that bell notification icon so you do get notified when I put out new content. As always, I appreciate the support. You are what makes this channel so much fun. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.